So I am so excited to be here with this chef on this episode of the Family Dinner Table. This is Chef Ben George, and Ben George was head chef at Intrust Bank Arena for years and years and years. And just last week, he took a new job as head chef at Chisholm's, which is at Doubletree at the airport.
Yep.
And so I'm sure the Doubletree Chisholm's is so looking forward to you being their head chef.
I'm pretty sure they're pretty excited about it. I'm excited about it. You know, something different. I've been at the arena for so long that, you know, I haven't been able to cook for the public, public, right? So what I cook backstage for all these famous people, like I want to be able to bring that to people to come and eat in my restaurant. So now I'm able to, even for my mom and dad to come and eat something other than a concession stand, or if we have a special event, you know, to be able to actually come to my restaurant and eat. So I'm looking forward to that.
How exciting is that? And as head chef at the arena, he mostly cooked for the stars that come in and the people that come in, the players that come in, and we'll talk about that later. He's cooked for a lot of stars. I'll ask him about that later on. But right now we want to talk about your family. How did you learn how to cook? Grandma Annette you mentioned, and your mom,
yes.
What they used to cook. By the way, Chef Ben grew up in Hutchinson.
Yeah, so I am, you know, from Hutchinson, went to high school at Buhler. You know, my grandmother was from McPherson, Kansas, and we would go there, and she just had a passion for cooking. Every time I'd come and stay with her, I always had a chocolate meringue pie or a chocolate peanut butter cream pie or a banana cream pie.
Really?
Then she would make me, you know, I loved her meatloaf and I loved her chicken and dumplings.
I bet her chicken and dumplings were to die for.
Oh, they're like Southern style, so they're like almost like a drop biscuit into your chicken broth. And every Christmas, every year we had those. And so I've recreated it, and I try to do those at Christmas with our family because
Right.
it's such an impact. Something as simple as chicken and noodles, but every time I eat it, right, I'm just brought back to 10 years old at my grandma's house for Christmas.
Unbelievable. And even though Chef Ben is a gourmet chef, and we're gonna cook something very gourmet, we're gonna cook sweet potato crusted salmon with Gouda cheese sauce on top. So that's very gourmet. But even though you're a gourmet chef, you learned a lot from your grandmother and grandmothers and mother,
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, for sure. And as I was kind of talking to you before, I just thought that what my mom and my grandmothers could accomplish doing holiday events for 15, 20, 30 people, all the food's always hot, it was always on time, you know, they're clean, always clean station. When I say station, their kitchen where they're
Right.
prepping and whatnot. But, you know, I learned a lot from that, you know, and my mom is very particular about not wasting food, making sure you utilize every single thing that you have.
Really?
And you know, that she's not a chef, but those are things that you have to know as a chef. So I'm learning at a young age from my mom and both my grandmas.
What do you remember around your family dinner table growing up?
Besides arguing with my sisters?
Yeah. But those are sweet memories.
Oh yeah,
anyway,
my sister used
right?
to always tell me I smelled like the dog. Just kidding, she didn't say it. You know, I was a young boy running around outside.
I
but,
love
you know,
memories around the dinner
Right,
table
for
because
sure.
no matter what you talk about, they create traditions and memories,
Yeah,
correct?
for sure.
Did you guys used to eat at the family dinner
Yes,
table?
we every night up until I was probably 10, maybe.
Yeah.
Every night, yeah. Dinner at 6:30, and you know, if the telephone rang, which I don't know if everybody knows what a landline is.
I know.
My dad absolutely no one answered the phone,
Really?
right? Or he answers like, "We're eating," like you know. And so you know, just those kind of things. It was a time together to be able to be together in community and to be able to talk about, or if we, you know, my main memories were just, you know, the food, lots of food. My mom would always, you know, didn't have the most money,
Right.
but we always had stuff. I mean, there was bread, there was some kind of canned vegetable, there was a protein, there was always a starch.
And a salad, right? Yeah.
Always. She'd make instant tea, just things like that, you know.
Yes.
But that's what I grew up on, you know.
Yeah, that's
Sure.
something we miss, well-rounded meals these days. With a starch and a lettuce and a vegetable, and no matter if it's canned or frozen, that's something we miss. Okay, so we're gonna make sweet potato crusted salmon with Gouda cheese sauce on top. And this, real quick, like you made 20 some years ago at the Highlands Golf Course and Supper Club in Hutchinson.
Yes, it's called the Crazy Horse Golf Course. But yes, straight out culinary school, I always said that I would never go work at a country club.
Yeah.
And I said I would never move back to Hutchinson. So I killed 2 birds with 1 stone, and I went back and I worked at the Highlands Golf and Supper Club. And I created this dish for a New Year's Eve party for the members.
Yes.
And my general manager, who's been a very big inspiration in my life and just a mentor for me.
Right.
Her name was Charla Meisenheimer. This is her absolute favorite dish. I made this and she's like, whatever you do, wherever you go, you always have to have this on the menu, wherever, and I'll drive anywhere to have it.
Boy, you do a good imitation of her, and I've never even met her.
No, yeah, she'll love me for that one.
And the good thing about it is you got to cook for your family and friends in Hutchinson when you were at the Highlands.
Right, and that was very important to me. You know, I look back on that, and you know, just to be able to cook for my parents' friends and like my friends' parents. You know, like they've just known me as this little troubled kid my whole life, and then here he comes back and he's, you know, cooking all this
He's a
great
gourmet
food.
chef. All right. Well, let's start cooking.
All right, sounds
Let's
good.
go to the kitchen. So here we are in the kitchen with Chef Ben to cook the famous ex-Highland Golf Course sweet potato crusted salmon. I am so excited for this.
Yes, me too.
So how do we start off,
Yeah,
Chef?
so start off, we have a nice sized sweet potato.
That is
It's very large.
nice size
Yeah, right. I know
sweet
normally you would
potato.
probably get a smaller size. This is just an industrial size, if you will.
Is that industrial
Yeah,
size?
sure. So I'm gonna cut it in half because we don't need all of it.
Okay.
And then I'm going to cut the end off of this part right here, and then I'm actually going to peel it. Okay.
So you peel the sweet potato.
Peel the sweet
Which
potato.
isn't hard. I mean,
Not
you
at
peel
all.
potatoes. I mean, we peel potatoes and everything. So, boy,
We're
you're
peeling
a,
away on these potatoes
you're a
here.
fast peeler.
Oh, you know the amount of potatoes I've peeled for mashed potatoes?
How many
If I could have a
potatoes?
wooden nickel for every one, right?
In all your days as a cook.
Right.
So tell me about the days at the Highlands.
The Highlands, I was straight out of culinary school, very young. Actually, I was 21 when I started there. And
That's so cool.
the nice thing about it was that it's from my hometown in Hutchinson, Kansas.
Yeah.
So I was able to move back home and cook for, you know, where my parents lived, where all my friends growing up, where their parents were.
Okay, so did your parents' friends come into the Highlands and your friends come in and go,
Oh, yeah.
Ben's gonna cook for us?
Pretty much. It's kind of funny. It became like this not really local celebrity chef just because, you know, Hutchinson
Really?
doesn't have a lot of chefs that come back
Yeah.
home after they've left.
That is so cool.
Okay, so I'm gonna
so
take this
after you do
potato
that-
right here and I'm gonna just take a cheese grater, okay? And we're just gonna grade this kind of
Oh,
like
that's
slivers
simple
of cheese,
enough.
right?
That's
So it's just
sim-
like hash browns. So we're pretty much making a hash on the outside of this salmon
Okay.
for
By the way, this recipe will be on kpts.org, and I'm going to repeat that several times. And it's so wonderful that Chef Ben has agreed to share this secret recipe with us.
right. So
Because, you know, it's the highlight of his career at the Highlands.
Yeah,
Now,
for
do you
sure.
still cook it where you're a chef now?
yes. Oh
Yeah?
yeah, every day, hands-on.
You do?
Oh yeah.
No, do you still cook
Oh, cook this?
dish?
Oh no, I don't. I
No,
don't. I've,
okay.
every once in a while, I have cooked it for some famous people when I was a chef at the arena a few times.
So you've cooked for famous people?
I have.
Okay, well, let's go to the next
Okay.
step, and then we'll talk about
Okay,
your
sounds good.
famous
Okay,
people.
so what I want to do is I'm actually going to bring a breading station. We can just move the cutting board. I'm
Okay.
done with it. So
Let's just move that out of the
excellent.
way.
Thank
That's
you.
enough.
You're the great sous chef.
Okay, aren't I
Get
good?
that? Her first name is Sue, chef. Get it?
All right.
Okay, so we have a nice piece of salmon here.
Just a regular salmon fillet.
Yep, Atlantic
Okay.
salmon. So I'm just gonna take just a little bit of kosher seasoning.
Now, does it have to be Atlantic salmon?
No,
or
it can be Scottish.
Can it be farm raised?
It can be farm raised. It can be
Okay.
whatever you want to do.
But Atlantic is
This
the
is what I
best.
have right. Well, that's what I have today. Is just what
Okay,
Atlantic
okay.
is.
Now you put kosher salt on
Yeah,
there.
I did kosher
now,
salt.
Now, why do you prefer kosher salt
Yeah,
instead
it's a
of-
great. So if you can feel this, right? You feel how you
Oh,
can
yeah,
feel
it's
the
very-
texture of it, right?
very
right. So you
crunchy.
take like iodized salt and you can't. So it's like helps you to be able to know how much salt
how much you're putting.
onto your product, so you're not over seasoning or anything.
But for the recipe, he's going to tell us about a quarter teaspoon or a half teaspoon
Yes,
for each
yes, for
fillet,
sure.
right?
Okay, yes.
Something to that effect.
For sure.
But it'll be on kpts.org.
So I've got just a basic, simple breading station here.
Okay.
I got flour, egg wash, and then we've got the sweet potatoes.
So this is how I bread too.
Right.
But I do egg first, then flour.
Oh, you do? So
What do you do?
So traditionally, I mean, like I was trained in culinary school about it, is the flour helps keep the egg on it, and then the egg will help keep this crusted on top of it.
because
So-
then you do this third.
Right.
Right.
So, and just a little fun fact, and this is going to go with like if you're frying chicken or breading chicken to be fried or
Right.
whatnot. Sometimes when you put this into the flour and then you go into the egg wash, and when you pull it up, the egg wash falls off and you see a little bit of flour. Well, what happens is when you put it into a fryer or to fry it, that part won't stick, the breading won't stick.
Oh,
So if you ever are
won't.
breading a chicken wing or a chicken
Yeah,
leg or something, and you just see like a little bit of the egg or it falls
That
off
won't
and you see
fry.
flour, it'll fry, it just won't stick to the
It
product.
won't stick.
Yeah.
Okay, so would you ever, I have a question here.
Yeah.
Would you ever go flour, egg, flour?
Yes, oh yeah. I do
You
that
do
for
that.
chicken fried steaks,
Okay,
chicken.
so that's my mistake.
Yeah.
Because I only do egg flour.
And that's okay.
From now on, I'm going to do flour, egg, flour.
It's a double breading, just adds a little
Okay.
bit more to it.
And
So,
you put salt and pepper in your flour? before
this
you
is a
bread?
seasoned flour, so it's
Okay.
like a hot flour. For me, if it's not a seasoned flour, you can season yourself.
With salt and pepper, and whatever, garlic salt,
seasoned
garlic.
salt.
Okay.
You know, I like
Okay.
any of those things.
Okay.
So,
So a fork to bread it?
yeah,
or-
I'm gonna go one hand wet, one hand
You
dry.
do it with
And
your
if-
hands,
honestly, I just
man.
need we'll put a plate right here, and we're gonna set
Perfect.
this right here. So
I mean, I do it with my hands too.
Right,
So, I
so-
mean, but obviously, if you're cooking for other people, you have to have the clean hands.
Yeah, right.
And all that kind of stuff.
All right,
But-
so I've got salmon here, nice coat of flour.
So the flour just automatically sticks, huh?
Yeah, so then I go right here into the
Okay.
egg and I let it sit for a second.
Okay.
Now, in my egg, I also like to put a little Worcestershire and like some sort of hot sauce. I like
Like
to use
Tabasco?
sriracha,
Really?
whatever. Adds just a little bit of flavor to it.
Okay.
So we're gonna get.
So did you put that in the egg?
I did.
You did?
I did, yes, I did.
Well, that's interesting.
Right?
You put it in the egg. I've never heard of that.
See what I was saying, where that falls
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
off right there? So then we just need to make sure that that gets breaded. Okay?
Breaded.
Or gets on there.
Gets egg on it.
Yes, so then I
Right.
go right over to the sweet potato here, and we're going to just crust it like so here.
And it'll actually stick.
Yes, it'll stick.
How? Why?
Because I've got this breading station.
And it's all right if you press it down,
Yes,
right?
you want to press it down.
So you coat the salmon with the sweet potato shreds,
Mm-hmm.
and then you put it in a baking dish
Yeah, we're gonna put it right in here to transfer.
right in here.
Yes.
And then we saute it before we bake it.
Yes, so
Gotcha.
my suggestion though is with this is that you put it in the refrigerator for maybe 30 minutes
30
to let it
minutes.
just sit there and it like the breading will stick better.
Perfect.
So
Okay, so
or
play
breading
like
when I say
we're-
that, the sweet potato shreds that will become like a hash.
Perfect.
Okay.
Put it in the refrigerator for a half an hour. It'll all be in the recipe. So play like we're just taking it out of the refrigerator. Now we're gonna go over to the stove to saute it. So here we are, ready to saute the sweet potato crusted salmon. Okay, what do we have in it? What kind of oil?
Just some canola oil. You don't want like olive oil. It has
Why
a low,
don't you want olive
It has
oil?
a low smoke point, and so it gets hot really quick and it'll burn.
Is
I don't know if you ever
that
noticed
why?
that. Like I like olive oil to finish stuff with flavor. If I'm sautéing, hit it up at the end.
But you don't saute much with olive oil.
no, I don't.
Oh,
I feel like it's a
interesting.
waste. But that's a
Okay.
personal opinion. You know,
Okay.
So.
All right,
But yeah,
so
we've
we've got some canola oil in here.
And then we've got our salmon here. And I'm just
Mm-hmm.
going to take a glove here so I can Put this bad boy on.
And you put it on
Medium to high.
Medium to high.
Right. So basically, what we're doing is making a hash brown on the outside of this, right? So it's a sweet potato hash on the outside.
That is so cool.
So,
and you have to heat the oil up first.
Yes, it
That's
has to
important.
be hot.
Why is that important?
It's so that there's a sear on, puts a sear onto the potato. Otherwise, it'll be soggy. Right? It'll just sit there in the oil. It'll absorb the oil. And
Gotcha.
Salmon's already an oily fish. So as you can see, some sweet potato already fell in, and it's kind of bubbling, so I know it's ready.
So we know it's ready.
So
okay.
When I put this in, I don't like just plop it, because then you have grease go everywhere. So I slowly just put it in, and you hear that? We cook with our ears, right? You should be able to hear the sear of the sweet potato.
Well, that is great. You can hear it. You can hear the sear. But the important thing is, and this is something I don't do enough, I put the oil in the pan and then I put my fish or chicken in, and it's important to heat up the oil.
Yep.
And so if it doesn't say that on kpts.org, y'all remember to heat the oil before you saute.
Right, it's got to be hot.
Sometimes
and that's
I
what
forget
saute
that.
means. It means to cook in a small amount of fat. You take the French translation, it means to cook in a small amount of fat.
Interesting, interesting. Okay, so you saute it on both sides.
Both sides,
How long
about
does it take?
4 to 4 minutes on each side,
4
probably,
minutes on each side.
because you want that to get a nice crust. But it's important to take a gander every once in a while, because it is sweet potato and it'll burn, and you don't want it to burn.
You don't want it to burn. But you don't want the salmon cooked all the way through either, because we're going to put it in the oven.
And you won't be able to.
Right, okay.
Your sweet potato will burn before it's finished. So
okay, 4 minutes on each side.
And then we'll put it in the oven for about 8 to 9 more minutes, and it should be ready. So I'm just taking a little look on the bottom to see where we're at. So we got a nice little crust. It's almost there. We got a couple more minutes. Okay, so sweet potato's got a nice little sear on the bottom, and I'm gonna come from the side here, and I'm going to do just a little to the side like this, so it doesn't
Look at
pop.
how beautiful that is.
So we've got that nice little hash on there.
That is beautiful.
And yeah, it's got the nice little caramelization. It's not burnt. So see, like cooking's such a reaction thing.
Right.
You know, and a recipe is a great guideline. And you know, it could take 4 minutes. It could take 3 minutes. It's reacting to see how the sweet potato has crusted on it or how it's cooked.
Okay, so we want a little burn.
Yeah, it's got that nice little char on there.
Right, a little char.
Yeah.
Okay. The great thing is, though, we don't have to add any spices because we've already put spices in the flour and in the egg batter, or the egg
wash.
Egg wash, thank you. So there's already all those spices on the salmon through the flour and the egg wash, and so then we don't have to worry about spices when we're sauteing, and I like that.
For sure.
And you'll tell us about how much spice to put in
Yes.
the egg wash and the flour. That'll be on kpts.org as well. All right, so we wait 4 minutes on each side, about 4 minutes. Okay, so it looks like it's seared on both sides now.
Yep, and we're ready to go into our pan here to be able to put it into the oven for about, 8 to 10 minutes.
8 to 10 minutes on 350. All right, so our crusted salmon has been in the oven, and so now we're gonna take it out and plate it, put the sauce on top, and go from there. Okay, so about 14 to 15 minutes, but you can check your salmon, right?
And if you want it more medium rare, I mean, you can temp it at 120 degrees, 115 degrees for medium to medium rare. If you're wanting it well done, it's 135 degrees. Any kind of meat thermometer works well with it.
Okay.
So I have a little bit of wilted spinach and some tomatoes that I'm going to put on here for a little bit of color.
This will be in the recipe on kpts.org as well, how to wilt spinach and a few cherry tomatoes. Gives it some color and adds a little taste to it too.
For sure.
All right, and then we just put that right on.
Grab the salmon here. I'm going to set that
Look
right on
at
top
how
here.
beautiful. So it's half on, half off,
Oh,
right?
yeah, you want to be able to see that.
Is that how you played it?
That's how I'm
How
playing
cool. I would have put it all on top. I would have
Right.
just slopped it right on.
And I got my smoked Gouda cream sauce.
Which is so easy, as we said before. 4 ingredients, cook it on the stove, easy smeezy. Oh, you should smell this. It smells so good. So from the Highland Golf and Supper Club in Hutchinson, Kansas, now the Crazy Horse, we have from a long time ago, sweet potato crusted salmon with Gouda cheese sauce on top.
Excellent.
Let's eat.
Let's eat.
So here we are at the family dinner table with Chef Ben, ready to try his gourmet salmon. Famous salmon recipe from 20-some years ago, right?
Yes.
Okay, now as you're serving me, I understand when you were head chef at Interest Bank Arena, correct? That you cooked for some awfully famous people.
I did.
Who did you cook for?
Well, the list is very long. I will say that.
Name drop a couple.
Yeah, that's
of
okay.
them.
So.
I'm gonna get some of this spinach
Yes.
here too. Okay.
So I would say, well, everyone from Chris Stapleton to Cardi B to Vanilla Ice.
And what about Paul McCartney?
Paul McCartney too.
Are
Yeah,
you
I forgot about Paul
kidding me?
McCartney. So
you cooked for Paul
right,
McCartney.
Sir Paul. It was awesome. Like
That is so cool.
What was so crazy about it was that he wanted all of our concession stands and everything in the arena to be vegan because he's vegan. We couldn't make that accommodation, but
Right.
those are the little things that I had to kind of deal with,
Isn't
cooking
it
for
weird
artists.
for stars?
Stars, yes,
You
for
have
sure.
to deal with some particular things with stars.
You
correct?
do, for
All
sure.
right. Well, not with me. I'll eat anything.
Right.
Oh my gosh. The sweetness of the sweet potato, the smokiness of the sauce over it. Oh my God, it's so good.
Oh, for sure. Definitely. I love the way that the smoked cream kind of really accentuates the way the sweet potato is. It almost needs more sauce on it.
You think so?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Well,
I just made it look fancy,
it's so fancy.
But
okay.
like you said, maybe more sauce
Well,
the better.
we made a lot of sauce, so you can put a lot. You can put as much sauce on it as you want. And guess what? If you're serving rice or something on the side, you can put the sauce on the side. Correct?
Yes, you can.
Yeah. Okay. So, do your kids and your family like this dish as well?
Yeah, my wife, kids, up and down on what they eat for seafood. But most of this just kind of is a go-to dish that I've, like you said, for 20 years I've enjoyed cooking.
This is literally the best salmon I've ever tasted.
Well,
And
thank
there
you.
are so few ingredients. That's what I love about it. There are so few, and it is literally the best salmon I've ever tasted. And there are hints of spices, so no spice totally overwhelms it at all.
Right.
So there are just
Very
hints.
well-balanced dish.
Have you passed on your love of cooking to your children?
Yeah, I would say yes. I know they have, my oldest one definitely has a passion for
Yeah.
it. Her biggest thing is her taste buds. You
Yeah.
know, she wouldn't eat, she just is very picky.
She's a picky girl, huh?
But cooking, she is very good at it. I'm
But
very
as a
proud.
chef, you gather around the family dinner table several nights a week or a couple nights a week anyway?
Yeah, just when we can.
Yeah.
We're busy as anybody else throughout
I
with just
know.
life, and so we try to get it a couple nights a week. We sit down before we eat and bless the food or anything. We talk about what our favorite part of the day was, and I think that's very important to be able to communicate with my kids because as soon as they come home from school, what do they think? Well, they were like, I don't want to talk about school,
Right.
But
right.
like, you give them a couple hours, sit down at the dinner table because this is community. This is important to me. Like, I find love in my food because I'm passionate about it, so I put the passion into that. And when we can all sit down and talk about our day, I want to hear about my kid's favorite part of the day, and I want to hear what my wife's favorite part of the day is.
That is a great tradition to actually say, we're going to ask you this one question when you sit down at the table, and that is, what is your favorite part of the day? Because if you just say to them, how are you? What'd you do today? They're going, oh, nothing. No,
right.
nothing. But if you have a specific question, that's a great idea. What was your favorite part of the day? You start a tradition around the family table that they'll remember forever.
For sure.
That's great. Okay, so at the end of the show, we always want to encourage you to do like Chef Ben and his family and try and gather around the family dinner table once or twice, maybe 3 times a week. We know you can't do it a lot. We're all busy because, as we all know, and research says, and Ben and I know from firsthand experience, when families come together around the dinner table, families come together. Thank you so much for being here, Ben.
Yep.
And
Say
we'll
Lou.
toast to that.
Oh yeah, for sure.
The Family Dinner Table is made possible in part by the following: